Hello and welcome to this episode of Focus On. Today we're going to speak to the CEO of a company that wants to provide financial freedom through cryptocurrency and education on the market. For quite some time, African policymakers struggled on how to reconcile cryptocurrencies with their financial system. But it seems the tide is changing. Recently, the South African Reserve Bank gave financial institutions the green light to deal with funds linked with digital assets. Maurice, the CEO of Yellow Card, joins me now as we explore the evolution of the financial services space in Africa, specifically looking at the cryptocurrencies market. Thank you so much for your time today, Chris. And let's first track back a little and look at the evolution of the financial services space in Africa and more or less the rise of cryptocurrencies. In your view, what has been that journey for Africa?
Yeah, I think that when you look at the way that crypto has risen to become so prominent on the continent, it's because most financial services on the continent at this point are using crypto in some way or another, right? I think when you look at legacy financial institutions on the continent, the majority of them are broken, right? They're slow, they're inefficient, they just don't work, right? And crypto is really the first technology that gives a promise of being able to change that. And so I think that when people talk about the rise of crypto, I think that they don't realize how prominent it already is. Most of the financial service companies, with the exception of maybe banks that people are dealing with across the continent, are already using crypto in some way, shape, or form, even if you're not seeing it.
All right, but what do you make of the decision by the South African Reserve Bank and what it portends for the adoption of digital assets?
I think regulation is a good thing, right? With any new technology, realistically, innovation is always going to outpace regulators, right? We've seen this before for all of human history, right? People invent things and then governments have to figure out, what do we do with this, right? And so regulation is a good thing, right? Regulation is not a bad thing. It's not something that people should be afraid of. It's something that I think private sector companies like ours should work with regulators on, right? And it's our job and everybody else in the industry's job to work with regulators on what are smart regulations, right? And so I think regulation is a step forward, right? Takes the space out of sort of this gray area and puts it squarely in the green, right? It makes it very clear what companies like ours have to do in order to be able to operate and to be able to provide services that people need and are going to use either way, right? And so people are already using these services. It's really the job of the regulators to make sure that it's happening in a safe way.
Yeah, but there's still that question around trust and also risk.
Yeah, I think when it comes to trust, right, that's where it becomes important to use a well-established company, right? And so there's companies like Yellow Card. There are other well-established companies as well. And the reality is that you're so much better off using a well-trusted, well-known company than you are using your friend, right? Right. Unfortunately, there's a lot of these peer-to-peer groups that'll pop up on Telegram and WhatsApp and any other messaging platform, and it's just not always safe, right? Peer-to-peer platforms, there's a lot of inherent risk when you're dealing directly with somebody that you don't know. Right. Yep. And so when it comes to that safety aspect and that risk aspect, it's significantly safer to work with a well-established company than it is to use one of these peer-to-peer platforms and trust somebody that you're not familiar with.
Yeah, but looking at that recent decision by the central bank, the Reserve Bank of South Africa, do you think other central banks in Africa will more or less toe the same line in the near future?
I think South Africa is a little behind, honestly. I think that we're already seeing it across the continent, right? Yellow Card is the only company anywhere on the African continent that has a license, the only crypto company anywhere on the continent that has a license, right? There's 6 countries that we already have licensing for. And in 11 total countries, we're in sandboxing or licensing application processes, right? We've worked with the Bank of Botswana to help them implement a full licensing regime around crypto. Right. And so I think that South Africa is actually a little bit behind. Right. And so I think that, with this new technology, it's a chance for the Reserve Bank to step up and really be the leader for the SADC region and for Africa more broadly. And so I think that's what we'd really like to see is we would like to see we would like to see South Africa sort of take that leadership role and implement friendly regulations that help promote the space. And yeah, I think again this is a good step forward. This is a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, but for Yellow Card, I'd like you to speak to the opportunity you see in the African market, more or less, especially around wealth creation as well as financial freedom.
Yeah, like I said, I think crypto is the most powerful tool that we've ever seen in terms of wealth creation and financial freedom, right? The ability to control one's own money, right? I mean, it's the most powerful tool. It's the most powerful technology, period, since the internet that's been invented, right? And so there's just quite a bit of opportunity out there now with this space. Right, whether it's in job creation, whether it's in trading, whether it's in again just being able to control your money. I'm sure you saw recently South Africa's has the worst inflation it's had in over a decade, right? And so how do you protect yourself in a time when inflation is bad and getting worse, right? And the answer is that you need to be able to access something stable, right? And that's what crypto provides, right? It provides that safe haven for people all over the continent, right? To actually be able to use their money, to actually be able to access, safe haven, stable coins, things like that, right? And so there's quite a bit of opportunity that the space provides, right?
All right, so let's get into Yellow Card and your work on the continent. I'd like to start with more or less what that philosophy driving your organization.
Yeah, the big thing for us is we just want to make sure that this technology is accessible, right? And so we have a big operation in South Africa and 15 other countries, and essentially our mission is just how do we make sure this technology is as accessible as possible, right? And so in every country that we work in, we accept all locally applicable payment methods, whether that's bank transfer, mobile money, cash, depending on the country. And we want to make sure that no matter who you are, no matter where you live, you're able to access crypto, access stable coins, access Bitcoin, access anything you need in that industry.
But in terms of your model and your segmentation, more or less, how are you more or less tailoring your products to meet the needs of the market?
Yeah, like I said, the big thing for us is really just being able to accept local payments. Right. So in every country that we work in, right, this is what sets us apart from any other company on the continent, is that in every country that we work in, we actually have a local entity. We have an office in all 16 countries that we work in. We have employees on the ground. We have local directors, right, local employees. And we really try to localize the product to the fullest extent possible in every country. And so in every country that we work in, we accept local currency, we accept local payments directly into our bank, right? You're not paying into, some shady third-party peer-to-peer bank. And yeah, that's really how we've been able to serve that need, right? It's just by getting as local as possible.
Because I'd like to get to your OTC desk and more or less understand the thinking behind this product and more or less who it is targeted at.
Yeah, great question. So, like I said at the beginning, right? Companies all over the continent are already using crypto because in a lot of cases they don't have a better option, right? And we get asked all the time by companies and CEOs of fintechs and just about every other industry that you can imagine. How do we start accessing this technology? How do we start using crypto? How does it help us with treasury management? How does it help us with moving money around, with making international payments, with making payments? And this is really our solution, right? With the OTC desk, essentially it's set up to help these large international companies, right? Or large domestic companies that need help being able to access large amounts of crypto. Right. So if you're a company and you need to access, $100,000 worth of USDT to be able to make a payment internationally, that can be very difficult. Right. And with a bank, it can be flat out impossible in some countries. Right. And so, again, that's like I said earlier, that's where crypto comes in. And companies are already using crypto. And so this is us trying to provide that service to help companies be able to access crypto in bulk.
Right, but beyond the corporates now, can high net worth individuals also plug into this OTC desk?
Of course, yes, yeah. If you're a big boy, then please, big boys and girls, welcome. So anybody that needs to access in bulk, right? Anybody that's looking to do big trades, this is essentially a white glove special service for you, right? So, we hold your hand through the process. We make it as easy as possible for you. And yeah, we take it all basically to a, to a how do you say, a serviced corridor.
Yeah, because I'd like to run through the process and more or less understand what it entails to sign up.
Yeah, so you can sign up right on the website, right? So yellowcard.io, in this case, yellowcard.io/OTC is the best way to sign up. You submit the interest form, and then one of our personalized traders will reach out to you directly, right? We'll go ahead, we'll get you onboarded. Of course, with onboarding, there's all the same requirements as there are for any other fintech, and for if you're signing up just directly on the app. So we need to collect KYC, we need some information on you, on the business. And then once that information is ready, we'll open a chat group for you, and you'll be able to very easily trade just from within that, right? So you're able to just ping our group of traders. It's as near to 24/7 as possible, right? We have traders in different parts of the world that are able to assist, and yeah, you just ping this group, and we sort you out from there.
All right, but on your footprint now, you're in 16 countries on the continent now. I'd like to understand how more or less your expansion plans, and more or less how you also intend to concentrate in the markets that you're already in.
My brother, I can't give away all the secrets, but I can tell you that we want to be everywhere. So that's like I said, the mission for us is really, how do we make this technology accessible to everybody, right? How do we make sure that no matter who you are, no matter where you are, you're able to access this and use it in a way that's helpful for you, right? Whether you're a business, whether you're an individual, right? And so, yeah, for us, right, we're gonna be in every country on the continent, and yeah, I mean, for now though, of course, the focus is on the 16 that we're in, right? And we have a great big team set up to be able to help everybody, right? So we're ready to go. We have personalized traders waiting on you if if you're a business or individual that needs those services. If you're an individual that's just looking to trade, right, then we have the app, right? And it's even faster, all automated, right? Super easy.
But in the markets that you're in, which countries would you say are blazing the trail in Africa in terms of significance and volumes that you're seeing?
Oh man, I mean, I would say South Africa and Nigeria are always always sort of leading the pack, right? So I think South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, right? Those are generally the countries that you see leading the pack when it comes to volumes and trading. But look, like I said, we're in 16 countries, and we love them all equally. And so no matter who you are, no matter where you are, we're here, we're available, we're ready to help.
All right, and thank you so much for your time today. I've been speaking to Chris Maurice. He's the CEO of Yellow Card, and it brings us to the end of this episode of Focus On. I'm Kenneth Igbomo. Enjoy the rest of your day.